Hi friends, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. This is the FlossTube channel all about cross stitching. My name is Joanne and I am the Eclectic Stitcher. If you're new here, hey, welcome. Thank you for stopping by and checking me out. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for continuing to support, stop by, interact, chit chat. Just love that you continue to come back to check out what I've been working on. Today is Saturday, not September, hold up. August. Sorry, I'm not trying to jump into September, although August is going by really fast. August 23rd, 2025. So I've been busy the last few weeks stitching, and I've got about 6 or 7 projects that I wanted to share with you. I thought, when I get a handful of projects stitched, worked on, sorry, brain, I want to come by and share with you. I like to try to get a video out every couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And so as long as I've got some content, hey, I'll stop by. I like to keep my videos at 30 to 40 minutes so that you can move on to other floss tubers, because I know I got a lot of videos to watch. So I don't want to hold you up. So let's get to it. So I'm part of a Discord group of cross stitchers who like to create events within the group so that we can keep ourselves stitching, motivated, and try new things. And one of the things that we're working on this month through the end of September is a biscornu. I've never stitched a biscornu. I've never put anything like this together. So I'm going to learn how to do that. Hopefully I can get my stitching done. So let me get started by showing you that. This was a kit that was part of the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit last year, 2024. It's a retreat hosted by Acorns and Threads. Beth from Heartstring Samplery and Teresa Koget were the guest designers. And this was one of the charts that they collaborated together to share with the class. This is Willow and Finn. I am stitching the raccoon, and he is Finn. I am stitching this on an 18 count Aida. The color is peach. I don't know who is by. I just purchased this at my local store, and it was kind of one of those sold as is type fabrics. I thought it was perfect. She had 2 pieces the same size, so I will be able to stitch him and Willow and be able to, I should have enough to do the bottom part as well. So there is that one. The floss that I'm using is Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works, I think it is. CCC. I guess I should have looked this up. It says CCC. Don't know what that is. Let me check it out. Okay, I guess it is Classic Color Works. I've just never seen it written as CCC. So there he is. I think he is so cute. Now, one thing that I am not going to do is I am not going to stitch those trees. I think one of the suggestions that one of the girls in the groups provided was maybe stitching the trees in the back and just having that at the bottom piece. And I thought that was a great idea. So I'm not going to stitch the tree. I still have one flower to stitch here, and then I'll be able to start on another corner. But that's my plan with this one. This next whip, I had not stitched on this in a while, and I thought I would just pick it up, add some more progress to it. This is Dreaming Frida by Barbara Anna Designs, and I am stitching this on an 18 count Aida Vintage Country Mocha, and I am just using DMC floss. What I worked on this last week was this. I added this bottom piece and I started on this cactus. And there's a little cat. Isn't he cute? So this is what I worked on, just the bottom piece there. I really like this. I love the colors on this. I think that it's going to look really nice. And I started this project because Laura, who was stitching by the shore, she started in Stitching Barbara Anna hashtag, and so I decided to join in. And I just kind of got this chart because I thought it was cool. So I do have to remember when I post on Instagram to hashtag that Stitch Barbara Anna. So there's that. This is Give Thanks by Primrose Cottage Designs. This was a freebie that they put out in their newsletter sometime in 2024. They do freebies the first Friday of the month. So if you are not part of their newsletter, email list, join them because they have such great projects out there. And so I needed to stitch something new. Trying to read my notes. You know, I have these sheets that I put on the back of my card. I created these sheets that tells me all about my cross stitch and why I stitched it. Sometimes I put on there why I bought it. So if I just read my notes, then this will flow a little better. So let's try that again. Take 2. Jacintha, who's a FlossTube channel, her channel name is Crafting on the Plains. She is stitching in 2025 charts that are freebie. One of the things that she wanted to do was stitch on those free charts that are out there because we forget about them and we kind of neglect them. So because we get a lot of free charts, she decided, hey, let's do that for this year. So I wanted to kind of jump on that bandwagon and do that. And so this was a freebie. One thing that I would say, I know my fabric is a little light. There's white in here. I don't know if I'm going to continue stitching that. I may change it up a little bit. I am stitching this on a 14 count Ada touch of blue, and I have a stash of Classic Colorworks, and so I just kind of picked my own colors, but I don't know that I like that white in there. I guess if I stitch it on, maybe it'll make a difference, but I know there's a pumpkin up here by the bird. I stitched it, and I frogged it out because I didn't like it, so I got to work on that. So, but I like this. It's, it's a quick project, but I think what threw me off is the fact that I just dislike that white. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm all for it. I thought maybe throwing in a B5200 might work. I may try that. I'm just not going to pick that up for a little while now. I did work. What I did do this last time when I picked this up, I stitched the word thanks and I stitched this little bird. This is what I started back in, I don't know, earlier this year. So, some progress there. This next one is 4th of July, Independence Day. This is by Annabella's. I actually won this chart from her FlossTube channel back in 2023. And I decided to do red, white, and blue stitching for the month of July for my birthday. I did this last year, and so this is one of the patriotic charts that I picked up. I am stitching this on an 18 count Ada Silver Moon, and I'm just using DMC floss. There's that. This one I really do like this one. Sometimes it's a little hard to stitch on it because of the fabric, but check that fabric out. Is that not the most gorgeous fabric? This is Lovebirds by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was at this chart came from a Just Cross Stitch magazine from February 2021. Nothing special about this one, just thought it was a cute chart, and I wanted to add it to my magazine Monday 2025 stitching. When I started 2025, I thought about creating themes for the week to kind of help me get stuff done. And so one of my things was that I was going to do on Monday, say, stitch anything that's from a magazine. Have I done it? Not really, but it's just one of those things when you create plans, you kind of just get away from that sometimes. You get distracted with other things. But that's okay. I like stitching on this. When I picked this up, all I had stitched was the head. So all of this from the head down is what I added, I do believe. No, I just stitched the body. I take that back. This was already stitched and this was already stitched. So I just kind of added to the body. I am stitching this on a 28 count Lugana, and the color is Joy Lynn. It is not the call for fabric. I just kind of found this fabric and it looked like the call for, so I thought, perfect. And I'm just using DMC B5200, I do believe. So yeah, so there's that. This next chart was also a kit from Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. This one was from 2023. This is by Ink Circles, and it's called The Forest of the Trees. I am stitching this on an 18 count Ada by Fiddler's Cloth, and the color is light oatmeal. It is not the call for fabric, obviously. I think this kit came with a linen. I don't stitch on linen, so I think I share that with another stitchy friend, and then I just picked up this oatmeal fabric, and I think it looks great. I love it. I like stitching on there. There's a lot of things going on in this. This was a kit that came with Classic Colorworks, and I just started it just because I wanted to start it. And I used it for, I've been using it for some of the monthly challenges that I participated in. When I picked it up, I stitched this section here on the side. So I'm kind of working my way this way. So there is that. Just a couple more. Oh, nope, this is the last one. So you might know from my last video, I think I talked about this. I am participating in Sheilia and Ejay's, who they are the Sunshine Stitchers. They're doing this chart is Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery. And this is their stitch along for 2025. Ejay divided this chart into 12 parts, and the goal is to stitch one part a month. Of course, I'm not really keeping up with it, but I was able to finish this, and I kind of started this part here. Not a whole lot of progress, but I do enjoy stitching on this. I try to stitch on this the first Friday of the month when they get together for Zoom stitching. I am stitching this just on an 18 count Ada, the color white, and I am using Manor Red by Classic Colorworks. Some of the ladies in the group are stitching this with different colors. There's so many variations to this that is so beautiful. Different color fabrics, different color floss. We were not told what to stitch with, how to stitch it. We were just told, stitch it how you like, and that's what I did. And because I had Manor Red Classic Colorworks, I figured that'll be perfect because then you get that variation of the colors. So that's all I have. Like I said, this was going to be a short video. As far as plans, so in September, Robin, who's the Bird Eye Stitcher, and Carolyn Sook, who is Sea Sook Stitch, they have a magazine monthly group, Facebook group, and in September they do a challenge called AB Singo. If you want to know about that, check it out. Check the group out. Sea Sook has a channel where she talks about it. Basically, it's a bingo card with letters and numbers, and she randomly picks numbers every night. And so for the month of September, you stitch on something every day for either an hour or put 100 stitches in. I plan my board. I don't have cross stitch charts on my board. I'm one of those that when she picks the letter, the number the night before, I'll just pick whatever I have available. Am I going to do it? I'm going to try. I think it's a fun event to kind of challenge you to get all these, as much projects as you can done. But if you want more information, check her out. I will try to link her down below in my notes. Another challenge that I do like to participate is I Spy, which is created by Laura, who is stitching by the shore. And what she does is she creates 10 prompts every month, and then you select charts, whips that go with those prompts. Again, I like her idea. Several months ago, I think we were in a Zoom group meeting, and she was talking about how she doesn't plan what whip she's going to put for those prompts. She will stitch on what she likes, and then she'll look and see if it fits in one of the prompts. And I kind of like that idea. When I first started doing challenges a couple years ago, I would sit and plan. I would spend like one day, one night just planning all the charts that I was going to stitch for those prompts. And it gets overwhelming. It just gets discouraging sometimes, because then I feel like, oh, I have to stitch those and nothing else. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling like this was a job that I had to stitch on that. So with Laura's idea, I decided to kind of take that, and I like doing that. I am working on my I Spy this month. I have not filled up all 10 prompts, but as I stitch daily before I put it away, I will look and see, hey, does this fit in one of the prompts? And then I'll just throw it in there. And it's a fun way to share what you're stitching and how you're matching the prompt to that. So I'll continue to work on that. There's a lot of groups out there that have different challenges. Acrostics, I can do the same. When I came back to cross stitching about 2 months ago, I told myself I was not going to dive into challenges very deep. I thought, let me just start with 1 or 2, and then I'll slowly add. So I will probably start adding as the time goes. Other than that, like I said earlier, I am part of a Discord group. If you want any information on that, visit .goose. You can get the link from her channel. It's a great group of ladies that they're on 24/7. The group is open 24/7. You can pop in any day or any hour of the day. There's usually somebody there. You can sit and chat. They have events, so it's a great group. Come join us if you like. Like I said, .goose. I'll link her below. And other than that, that's it. I hope that you have a great week. I hope that you continue to stitch. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message below. My email will be listed below. You can also find me on Instagram. Reach out. I love to chit chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just coming in and seeing what I've got. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.